I'm Seung-bum Seo. I'm very happy to be here for moderating today's event. First, I would like to appreciate all the participants for attending today's event. Especially, I want to announce that we have invited very special panel discussions from our sponsor agencies and relevant institutions. They are Seoul Urban Solutions Agency, Korea International Cooperation Agency, Korea Overseas Infrastructure and Urban Development Corporation, Korea Environmental Industry and Technology Institute, International Constructors Association of Korea, and Korea Land and Housing Corporation. Again, we appreciate your time today. Let me briefly introduce today's program. First, the Dean of the ISUS, Professor Hyun Park, will give an opening speech. After that, total 7 groups will present their works. They are the selected groups from all the GPD classes of last semester. 4 teams will talk for the first session, urban regeneration and infrastructure development. And the other 3 teams will talk for the second session, environment and energy. After the main sessions, the awards will be announced. Panel discussants will contribute to the evaluation and scoring of all the presentations. After the award announcement, today's fair will be finished with closing remarks of the Vice Dean of ISUS, Professor Sin Lee. For the first of the program, the Dean of ISUS, Professor Hyun Park, will give an opening speech. Please welcome him with your applause.
Thank you, Professor Sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, depending on your time zone. I hope all of you are doing excellent. Stay strong and safe in this pandemic. It is my great pleasure and honor to welcome all of you to 2022 ISUS Global Project Development Fair. As Dean, I'm extremely happy to get all the members of ISUS community, not only the registered students, but also alumni access from Korea and abroad. Special thanks to the panelists from our sponsor organization on ISUS Master's Program. Today, we invited actually Dr. Won Jong-jin from KOICA and Dr. Kim Yoon-hee, Senior Researcher of KT, and Dr. Jung Chang-gu, Director of International Contractors Association of Korea, ICAK. Dr. Jung, can you wave your hand? Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate your presence at this event, and we also thank you for your financial support that make it possible to run our wonderful International Urban Development Program, MUAP, MURD, MGLAP, and MIPD programs. We also invited panels from our partner organizations today. We have Ms. Jo Becky, General Director of Korea Land and Housing Corporation. Ms. Jo. Okay, thank you. And Mr. Yoon Ji-won, Director of Korea Overseas Infrastructure and Urban Development Corporation, or KIND. Mr. Yoon, okay, thank you. And we also have Dr. No Eun-hee, Project Advisor of Seoul Urban Solution Agency, SUSA. I think she will be joining in the session too. ICAK, KIND, and SUSA, along with the Seoul Metropolitan Government, are also organizations that graciously co-host ISUS internship programs for our international students. And they also offer programs including seminars on special topics and field trips frequently. I appreciate their continued support on our program. All the participants are also the clients of the output of the GPD classes. They are actively working on international cooperation activities in the areas of urban development, environment, and infrastructure development. I hope that the project proposals presented today may interest you. ISUS was founded in 2012, back 10 years ago, and we have tried to deliver 3 core values: premier education, global perspective, and worldwide networking. Global project development is one of our efforts to integrate those values into the form of the coursework. ISUS is a platform of the professionals from public and the private sectors, home and abroad. We have about 36 new Korean students and 80 new international students every year. We put all of them together into a GPD class and divide them into 4 or 5 classes and then make a team of 4 to 5 students. Each team works on development of a project proposal for a whole semester. In the course of the interaction with their team members for a whole semester, students can learn how to communicate with their classmates who have different cultural, regional, geographical backgrounds, fostering global perspectives and building worldwide professional network. As output of the GPD class, each team develops a proposal on a specific project or program at the end of the semester. As of the end of 2021, 723 students have developed almost 300 project proposals since 2014 in the various sectors of infrastructure, including, but not limited to, transportation, housing, environment, water resources management through various funding sources, including private financing. It is worth mentioning that as many as 275 Korean students, mainly from the engineering and construction companies, have been involved in project development, making the project proposals much more implementable. Some project proposals were continued with a follow-up financial support by ODA funds from EDCF or MOLIN, Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport, and Ministry of Environment. To disseminate the ideas and performance of our students, today we showcase quality projects to a large audience, including our sponsor organization and the partner organizations. We also invited Korean engineering and construction companies to this event, making them accessible to ISUS community as well as project proposals. We believe this seminar serves as a platform to exchange ideas and information between private and public sectors, home and abroad, and provide an opportunity to further cement international cooperation. Also, I sincerely hope you can get insights into solutions to challenges faced in the fields of urban development, regional policy, infrastructure development, and environment. Before closing, I'd like to extend my sincere appreciation to all students who have worked hard to mobilize their resources to develop these project proposals, making this GPD fair valuable and meaningful. I also thank US faculty members for their guidance in the class. Hope every one of you enjoy this fair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Hyun Park, for your opening remarks. Okay, then let us move on to our main session. For the first session, Professor Jun Park will moderate. Please welcome him with your big hands.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jun Park. I'm honored to moderate the first session, Urban Regeneration and Infrastructure Development. Professors of ISUS have selected the best teams for the second GPT Fair event. The first session has 4 teams privileged to have an opportunity to share work with experts and other colleagues. We also invited distinguished experts to this event for having precious comments. Firstly, I'll introduce the panels after the presentations. Okay, now I'll introduce the first team, ACE, for presentation. This team's presentation title is Smart Underground Waste Collection System. Please welcome ACE team of Junsup Lee, Therika Cheng, Don Gihan Karunanayake, and Bananshio Biarugaba.
Okay, could we start? So hello, this is ACE team. We're going to introduce one smart technology related to smart underground waste collection system. So here is our team member. So let me introduce about our project information. As you know that nowadays waste is becoming a crucial issue in the city that need properly management, but it is more complex to control due to urban development and population growth. Currently, some factors such as economic growth, increasing of urban population, insufficient of infrastructure, and also poorly cities waste become a huge challenge in waste management. In fact, Phnom Penh city of Cambodia also facing the challenge related to waste management issue as well. According to the National Development Strategic Plan of Cambodia, also identify that waste management is priority sector that we need to consider and find the best solution to improve. Nowadays, the government of Cambodia has informed about influence of waste pollution to the public and make waste separation. However, the waste collection system still poor managed and poor control. As you can see here, all the waste are not separated. All the staff collection does not have enough equipment to protect their body, and the waste collection schedule are not sufficient to the local needs. According to the first set of environmental report in 2021, solid waste disposal gradually increased from year by year. We can see that the waste in urban area can produce 1 million tons per year, but only 700,000 tons can go through to the landfill. And we can see about the lack of responsibility of waste collection company and lack of technology support to get more sustainable waste management. That's why underground waste collection technology is one of the best solutions that we should thinking about. For our project objective, we need to improve urban environments, human lifestyle, and smart technology. Second, to promote sustainable development. And third is recycling resource, including separating waste at the source and generate the electricity. For our study, we'll cover on case study analysis from Korea, literature review of waste collection technology, and cost-benefit analysis. For the scope, we choose to implement only one road, approximately 15 kilometers from the central market to the Ngao landfill as a project model. And we build the incineration to generate the electricity as well.
The following is a case study. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah. The first example is Nanjido, which became a waste mountain as it has served as a waste dump due to the side effects of so rapid growth and urbanization. In other words, which become the land of death.
Can you hear his voice? Well, I cannot. Can you speak loudly, Kihan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Sorry. Nanjido began to stabilize in the landfill in 1991, and when the Seoul World Cup Stadium was decided to be Sangam-dong in 1998, the landfill stabilization and the parkization practice began to in earnest. Next, please.
I'm sorry, can you speak loudly? A little louder?
Maybe could you take off the earphone?
Okay.
Mr. Lee is.
Okay. Next, please. Next page.
Yeah.
Next page, please. Yeah. Currently, the pure made of Nanjido landfill gas has revived the polluted environment along with the economic effect. And whether it is a land of death, I think it is important data showing that the landfill is being reborn as a land of life. Next, please. The second case is Unpyeongnu town located in northwest Seoul. It is a new city which is an area of about 350 hectares. Unpyeongnu town resource recovery facility are installed and operated. The facility can incinerate the 48 tons of waste a day, and the waste transport pipe is about 29 kilometers, and about 500 garbage bins are installed. When garbage is placed at the bin, it is transported to the resource recovery facility through the transported pipe and incinerated. This is the same principle as a vacuum cleaner. The combustion temperature is about 1,300 degrees Celsius, which is a system that supplied local heating and hot water using this heat. And residents are maintaining a comparable resident complex by throwing trash at the bin. Thank you.
In here, I'm going to explain the project concept and general idea about the automated waste collection system. It can describe project outline as project name, smart underground waste collection system, and project area is Cambodia, Phnom Penh City. Project owner, municipality, Phnom Penh, base year and target year 2023 to 2028. In this sectional picture, you can get some basic idea about how the automated waste collection system work on the ground and under the ground. Next, please. Now we can move to the site analysis. When we selected this area, the number of population, geography, terrain location is in good condition. Visual influence is in an average. Topography, infrastructure condition, and traffic condition is in very good. And this is the Phnom Penh Central Market area. Here is the Dangan landfill area, and there is 15-kilometer distance from the Central Market area to landfill area. It is the underground path which we are going to select it for the automated waste collection system. And there is very populated residential area and also commercial area. Next, please. In this slide, it shows how this waste collection system is working. The main source in the system, there are 3 bins for the type of 3 waste. Communities can use serve card system to open the bins. In the operation mode, it is working by using air vacuum system. It means pneumatic system. It is open 3 times per day or more as it is needed. In the generation, collected waste go to the recycle system and it is generated the electricity to the city infrastructure. Thank you.
So I will talk about the project schedule, and our project is structured in a way that Phnom Penh City shall give operational license and Ministry of Environment will be the overall supervisor of the project. In terms of funding, government will provide 20% of the total investment cost, and other partners will provide 80% of the cost. Construction and supervision will be overseen by Ministry of Land Management, Urban Planning, and Construction. Next, please. We expect the project to run from 2023 to 2028, with covering 6 years. And the major activities are highlighted in the slide. Next, please. So let's look at the cost benefit estimation. As already said, and following the case studies conducted, we estimate to inject a total investment cost of $65 million with a total revenue output of $5.8 million per annum after generating and selling electricity. Next, please. So we expect to have other benefits, and the project is expected to derive benefits such as improved human lifestyle, electric power generation from waste collection, from waste recycling, reduced odor and pollution, as well as balanced economic growth and environmental protection. And thank you. That is from me.
So to conclude that after we study about case study and our project implementation, we can see that 2,600 tons of garbage, they can produce electricity for 100 megawatt that can use for 100 households. And also we can assume that the underground waste collection system is smart waste management technology that can reuse the vehicle on the transportation and reduce environmental issue by using the vacuum technology through underground pipeline. And although this project looks so expensive at the beginning, but it is more effective than the traditional truck. Furthermore, this project is not only improve waste management system to deal with social concern, but it also strengthens environmental quality and promote economic growth, which is leading to sustainable development goal as well. So here is our memory that we have done together while doing the project design. And that's all for our group presentation today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I'll introduce the next team, Kupu Kupu, for presentation. This team's presentation title is Education and Recycling Center in Depok City, Indonesia. Please welcome Team Kupu Kupu of Hyan Lee, Anggreni Octavia, Jonathan Megan, and Abdul Hakim Abu Bakar.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Professor from ISUS, all the panelists, our lovely friends from ISUS, MGLAB, and also other fellow friends. Now, we are from Group Kupu Kupu wants to present to you about Education and Recycling Center in Depok, Indonesia. Our group consists of Anggreni, Jonathan, myself, Abdul, and Hayun. This is the table of contents of today's presentations from introductions until project sustainability. Before we start our presentations, I would like you to watch our video about waste bank. Okay, from that video, we can see that waste bank really helped Indonesia to reduce the waste and also avoid that kind of human catastrophe as waste landslides again, that we want to apply in Depok City that will be present from Hayon Lee.
Oh, thank you, Jonathan. After watching the video, we can see that Indonesia still has a waste problem. In order to offer you a better understanding of our project, I would like to introduce you to Depok City, where our project will be located. Depok is a municipal city in West Java, Indonesia, with a total area of 200 square kilometers. Depok has a population of 265 million people and growing at the rate of 3.28% due to migration. In 2021, Depok generated waste around 594,217 tons. Every day, Depok City has to deal with 1,627 tons of waste. Food waste accounts for roughly 63% of Depok's waste, while plastic accounts for 21%. In general, social economic condition of Depok City based on the statistical data of 2019. HDI is 71.4, while the literacy rate about 99.9%. Depok also has GPD around 4,000 USD. However, Depok is struggling to manage the waste. To give you overview of Depok waste management, Rennie will explain further.
Thank you, Hayon. Now I would like to give you an overview of Depok waste management and infrastructure. Depok waste management was designed to manage 3 different types of waste. Organic waste is composted at the organic waste treatment plants. The non-organic waste is transferred to the waste bank, and the residual waste is disposed of at the landfill. However, currently Depok only has 1 landfill to manage most of the waste, while the 3,017 of existing waste bank can only manage 1,888 tons of waste. We also noticed some major issues of waste in Depok. The first problem is infrastructure. Depok only has 1 landfill and has over its capacity to manage all the waste. Despite the fact that the government has implemented waste segregation, majority of Depok waste is not properly sorted. Number of recycled waste is also still low due to the lack of awareness about sorting household waste. To address the Depok waste problem, the city government had set a goal of managing 80% of waste while eliminating 20% of waste.
I think we have some technical problems.
Okay, because there is technical problems, I will take over my friend's Rennie presentations. Because of that problem that we see in Depok City, Depok municipal government has targeted to manage 80% of the waste by reducing 20% of the waste from the resources by building waste management infrastructure, focusing on education and partnerships with business and community, developing modern waste management, build research and training center. So because of that, our group has project to recycle and education facility in Depok supported by the technology to reduce the waste sent to Depok landfill and to raise the awareness as well as develop new habits to reduce, reuse, and recycle waste. The project will be located in Tapos, was one of the district in Depok City near the Jakarta, and our project will have total area about 40,750 square meters and total building about 67,000 150 square meters. Next, about the project objectives will be explained by Abdul.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. Our proposed project objectives, our project has 4 main objectives. One, increase waste reduction of Depok to 30% in 2024, create circular market of waste bank, raise society awareness and develop new habits to reduce, reuse, and recycle waste, and provide advanced technology to waste management approach. Next, our project activity. Our project has 4 main activities. 1, recycle education facility. 2, final process of 3R in Depok City. 3, command data center. And the last one is selling center for recycled product. Yes, next. We have used 2 benchmarks for our project. One is in New York, USA, called Sim Municipal Recycle Center, where the facility provides material recovery facility and recycle education center. The second one is in Vienna, Austria, called 48 Junk Shop, where the facility converts trash into city heating system during winter and cooling system during summer. And the facility encourages citizens to switch from disposable to multi-use items. Next, our proposed project cycle. The waste generated by household will be collected by Waste Bank and or scavengers. The Waste Bank will recycle the waste at their own capacity and sell the product back to household. What they cannot recycle, they will move it to the main Waste Bank. The main Waste Bank will do the same thing. What they cannot recycle, they will move the junk of the waste to our proposed project. Our proposed project is of city scale, which is capable of recycling all the waste generated by Depok City, and at the same time serve as educational center to enlighten the citizens of Depok City on reduce, reuse, and recycle. Likewise, the downcycled product will be sold to industries and residual waste will go to landfill. Jonathan will lead us to cost-benefit analysis. Thank you.
Okay, I will also explain about the cost-benefit analysis. We already analyzed and calculated all the budget of our project from the initial cost, operating cost, and revenue. And we already conclude that we have break-even points about 4 years. It means that our project will have economical profit or benefit after 4 years of operating. Besides that, our project have economic market values, avoided external costs, job opportunity, and also generating income for the local waste bank and also local government. Besides the economic, we also have social and environmental benefits, such as improving health and well-being, social awareness, waste management, and open information, and also reducing greenhouse gases emissions, and also reducing air pollution. This is the project implementing agency. The project implementing agency of our projects consists from the national level until the local level, which is the Depok City government, and also the PMU, Project Management Unit. And we also already plan the sustainability of our project to be sustainable about 10 years until 20 years. From the economic and financing, we plan to establish regional-owned enterprises. We allocate the government budget and also develop cooperation with the government and enterprises. We also develop standard operational procedure for facility. For human resources, we strengthen capacity of the government, waste bank, and staff, and also we involve community and civil society. For the marketing and public relations, we engage the public through social media platform and partner, and also developing relations with the enterprise and education institutions. So we can conclude that our project is really benefit for the economic, social, and environment by combining all the education facility to reduce the waste. Thank you, terima kasih, kamsahamnida, nagode. We wish to flyer like kupu-kupu.
Thank you for the presentation. Now I'll introduce the next team, Hope 156. This team's presentation title is Urban Slum Upgrading in Flying Tharia, Myanmar. Let's welcome the team Hope 156 of Nam Hee Kim, Chan Birak Sok, Swe Trang So, and Rizka Adina, and Devaya Tarisa.
Good afternoon, Professor, Sir, and Madam from ICAK, LH, Karn, Susa, Koika, and Kitty. And so I would like to say hello to all of my fellow students. It's a great honor for my team to be the presenter of 2022 ISUS Global Project Development Fair. This afternoon, I'm going to introduce our project, Urban Slum Upgrading in Lantaya, Myanmar. So our group is Hope 156, and we have Deva and Rizka from Indonesia, Namhi from Korea, Trey from Myanmar, and Amvidat from Cambodia. Today's presentation will focus on three main parts. The first one is project information.
Sorry, Virak, you haven't changed the slides.
I'm sorry, but maybe because of the internet connection, I think so. Can you see?
You can see the first slide, Virat.
Yeah. Who controls the slide?
I control the slide, Professor.
Okay, but this is still stuck on the first page, first slide.
You stop the sharing and share again, Virat.
Okay.
So please wait.
It's not full screen.
Please wait, I'm going to share again. So can you see my screen right now?
Okay, good.
Yes, yes.
So I would like to continue. So today's presentation will focus on three main parts. The first part is project information. Second part is project plan and process. And finally come up with cost and benefit analysis. So ladies and gentlemen, I would request your attention in this urban slum upgrading issue. You may not know that almost 1.4 billion people, or approximately 35% of the world urban population, live in slum nowadays, and most of them are located in developing countries. The report from UN Habitat also stated that the number of slum dwellers will reach to 2 billion people in 2030 if there's no serious action being taken. So for Myanmar case, approximately 370,000 people, or 7% of Yangon city population, live in slum and informal settlement, and they are facing a huge problem. For example, cannot access to water, electricity, bad living environment, and high exposure to risks. So as a result, our project considered to choose the entire area, which is one of the poorest area of Yangon outskirts. And this area has 180 informal settlement area with approximately 25,000 households. Our project is one of the entire informal settlement area, and we call it Quarter 8. This area consists of 320 slum households with approximately 1,400 residents who live in a 40,000 square meter land site. For the next part, I would like to give this floor to Namhi.
The area our team chooses is slum. The slum have many problems: water supply, waste management, electricity, systemic road and drain network, and noise and smelly surrounding. So our team's project goals to create good buildings in post-slum areas. Next. The purpose of our project to create a good environment and solve poor settlement. These actions promote economic, social, and environmental activities that make effective use of urban space and contribute to sustainable development. Next, Due.
Yeah, thanks, Yunamishi. For our project, for the case studies, we use the land sharing in Borikila, Philippines, Cambodia, innovative slum redevelopment project, and regional scale slum alleviation program of Smagiri area, Surakarta city in Indonesia. Next. Yeah, go back. Okay, this is our project concept, and based on the case study, we plan to make our project as PPP. The concepts of our project can be divided into two main ideas: urban upgrading and misuse land plan. The government provides the land to the investor to build and manage a new residential area. 50% of the total land will be provided for investor to manage as commercial area. As in return, the investor will develop a new residential and commercial facility and upgrade the slum area by providing the good infrastructure and public space, park, community center, and market. The investor have the right to manage the commercial area for 20 years, and they have to pay land tax only for the commercial area. Thank you.
That plan of quarter 8, we will plan for quarter 8 will develop with two kinds building. Those are residential and commercial tower, and the other one is for public space. For residential tower, will use 37.5% of total land area. Will be built for 5 towers with 5 floors per each building, and it consists of 16 units per floor. And slum dweller occupy residential house with rent status with affordable price. For commercial tower, will use 50% of total land area. Will be built for 1 tower, consists of 25 floors with 20 units per floor, and society can buy the commercial room with a home ownership status. For the green area, we'll use 12.5% of total land area and will be designed with dry pond and tree canopy. Next. For the green infrastructure concept, detail of implementation of green infrastructure in our plan consists of green wall, a dry pond, and a tree canopy. For the green wall, also known as a vertical garden, will be implemented in the residential commercial tower. And for dry pond, we'll implement it in a public space designed to hold water for a short period of time before it flows into nearby a river. And a tree canopy will implement in around quarter 8. And for the next slide, I'll continue by Deva.
Yeah, thank you, Rizka. So for the cost and benefit analysis, we'll divide into 3 parts. The first is construction cost. We're using Myanmar cost across and Indonesia cost across for the infrastructure. And the second part is operating costs, where the expenses are for the maintenance and the tax land, but only for the commercial area. And the operating income, which will be generated for the sales of commercial housing and service charge for all the residents. Next slide, please. So based our assumption above, next slide. So we got the cash flow will be positive since the 5th year with the net present value $2.4 million with discount rate at 6%, and the internal rate of return is 40% and benefit to cost ratio 6.8 times. Next slide, please. So because it's the PPP project, the first year we will be planning for bid process, and the construction will be finished in the 4th year and will be commercially fully operate in the 5th year. So for the organization, in the next slide will be explained by Tue.
Oh, thank you, Deva. The Department of Urban and Housing Development, which belongs to the Ministry of Construction, is the focal department who supervise for the jobless training and monitoring and supervise for the progress of our project. Next slide, please. The project outcome is the last part of our presentation. Our project is urban slum upgrading, so that we expect our project is not only to get the economic benefits, but also the social benefit. As people know, slum residents are poor and they are lack of educational background and good infrastructure. Therefore, the government provides the training, workshop, and community center. In order to enhance the quality of their life, we build the good infrastructure and we consider the green infrastructure concept for the sustainable development of our project. We can create the job opportunity and better and safe environment for them. We expect the low-income people and middle-income people to live together in one area to reduce the inequality. In conclusion, our project will follow up the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG 7, Clean Energy, SDG 8, Food and Productive Employment, SDG 10, Reduce Inequality, SDG 11, Safe, Resilient, and Sustainable Settlements, and SDG 16, Peaceful and Inclusive Societies Provide Access to Justice for All. That's all of our group presentation today, and thanks for your listening.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Now I will introduce the next team, 4 taters, for the presentation. This team's presentation title is Baku Waterway Transit Project. Please welcome Team 4 taters of Juyong-Kwan, Nargis Gulmarieva, Rizka Muslima, and Soban Rotanak Chin.
Hello, everyone. We're glad to meet you and want to present our project on Baku Waterway Transit Project. Our team name is 4 taters. This is outline of our today's presentation. Our team consists of 4 members. I'm Nara from Azerbaijan. Our another valuable member is Rizka from Indonesia. One more important member of our team is Rotanak from Cambodia, and we have a replaceable member, Juyong from Korea. The location of our project is Baku city, the capital of Azerbaijan. It's a beautiful city, but you will be trapped in the traffic jams on the roads along the coast. Baku is a major political, economic, and cultural center in the South Caucasus region. The total area of the city is 2,140 square kilometers, consisting of 12 districts with a total population of about 2.25 million. And this population has increased annually by 22% since 2000, which is one of the highest urbanization rates in the region. 23% of total population of Azerbaijan are living in Baku. Baku accounts for about 45% of the formal employment in the country. The city of Baku's population is estimated to increase to 3.8 million by 2030. Transport produces 91% of the total CO2 emissions in Azerbaijan. The amount is not surprising because the number of motorized trips in Baku is estimated at about 4.8 million per day, and car ownership in the city was as high as 98 out of 100 families in 2018. The main focus of our project is to solve the traffic jam issues on Neftçiler Avenue. Neftçiler Avenue is located along the Baku Bay and is one of the 2 exits from the city. The growing urbanization rate and increased number of motorized trips, as well as long traffic jams and extreme pollution, require immediate actions to introduce sustainable transportation mode in the city. Main outcomes of our project will be alternative sustainable transport mode with optimal capital investment, reduced traffic congestion as well as traffic accidents, promotion of the sustainable environment and emission reduction by introducing more green transport integration technology, integrated transportation system, and preservation of the beauty of Baku city. From now on, Rizka will take the stage.
Thanks, Nara. I will continue with the result of our main activities. Next, please. Starting with the urban transport governance. Basically, there are 2 types of organization. First one is directly responsible to the president, including Baku Transport Agency. The other one is those organizations who are responsible directly to the cabinet of minister. For our proposed water transit, the direct stakeholder who will be in charge to the project will be Baku Transport Agency. Next. About the passenger demand calculation. Here you can see the overview of current Baku transport demand. The graph on the left side shows the proportion of cars ownership per 100 families in Baku in 2020 compared to the overall car numbers in Azerbaijan. This indicates that each of family household in Baku has 1 car. And on the right side, the chart shows the composition of main transport modes in Baku, where it is dominated by cars about 43% while bus is only around 20%. Next. We also got the data of bus trips entering and occupying the main road from Lokbatan to Zeh, which reaches 43 million trips during 10 months in 2020. Next. Another data that we got is the average car speed at the Neftçiler Avenue, which is very low, where during the peak hour, it's only moving at 9 km per hour. Next. So from those data, we can roughly calculate the passenger number of the existing transport modes. Then we can derive the passenger demand of the water transit by assuming the mode split. We consider 3 scenarios: best case, real or medium case, and worst case. But as you can see that these numbers are considerably high, and since our main activity is to develop the pilot project first, we think that it is better to set the target number of passengers based on the target performance instead. Therefore, based on the targeted time schedule or headway, we concluded our target is to be 21,330 passengers per day. Next. In order to operate the water transit system, we identified the required main facilities. First, obviously, the water vehicles itself or the ferries to carry the passengers. And we need the terminals for passenger boarding and alighting, also the workshop for daily and overhaul maintenance of the ferries. Furthermore, we also analyzed the required supporting facilities to improve the connectivity and increase the waterway ridership. They are park and ride, and the connection or access between terminal and the existing transport modes such as bus shelter and subway station. These facilities and the route selection will be further explained by Rotana.
Thanks, Rizka, for the feature calculation on the passenger demand and required facility. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, after we analyzed all the existing condition and demand, we decided to select two routes for our ferry projects. Route 1, which is about 10 kilometers, will be directly connect the two ends of the city and will carry both car and passenger. And Route 2, which is about 16 kilometers, will go through all the three terminals to collect the regular passenger in the central area of the town. Next, please. We have identified 4 location terminals. To minimize the project expense, we will use 3 existing port terminals by upgrading the facility to align with our project purpose. However, we will also need to construct a new port terminal infrastructure and also the facility. These locations are all in connection with the nearby buses, subway station, and the bus and the parking facility. Next, please. We also suggest to use the existing workshop facility in Baku to repair our ferry. This facility consists of the high quality repair and construction work. As for the proposed selection of the ferry in our project, we consider the use of the sustainable energy modes, which is EV ferry. We'll use benchmark EV ferry, which have been used in Norway since 2015 for the Route 1. The ferry can carry about 360 passengers and 120 cars. As for the Route 2, for the passenger drive only, we consider the Mind Smart Ferry and innovative boats using in Thailand. This boat can carry over 200 passengers. We consider this is a very good opportunity to reduce the traffic congestion as well as to serve the environment at the same time. The starting cost might be high, but it will provide so much value for us and our next generation to serve the planet. For these 2 routes, we plan to set the operation time from 7 a.m. in the morning to 11 p.m. at night. For Route 1, the ferry will depart in every 30 minutes. And for the Route 2, the passenger ferry will depart in every 10 minutes. Based on our calculation, we'll need 3 big ferry for the Route 1 and 14 passenger ferry for the Route 2. So next, please. So overall, we'll need 4 terminals. 1 will be newly constructed and another 3 will be upgraded from the existing port terminal. We also need to build the supporting facilities such as road access, extra parking, and building for the passenger to be ready on the board. So that is all for my point. Next, Chiu Yong will cover for the cost and benefit analysis. Thank you.
Thank you for Rotana. I'd like to turn to the project anticipated cost. For this project, we will need to build a new terminal and repair the current terminal. We will also need Type 1 ferries for passengers and Type 2 ferries for passengers and cars. The total cost would run to about $141 million. Next. How our Baku project will happen. And here is the cost benefit analysis that I used for this project. I've considered several variables that include traffic, travel time, distance, speed, car accident risk, and carbon dioxide emission. Next. There are benefits of our product. Our product relate to travel time savings, car accident prevention, and air pollution reductions. These benefits will save us a total of about $357. And next. This slide shows our method and result of NPV, IRR, and VC ratio calculations. This project is in green light. All measures are greater than the requirement. These data points demonstrate the economic feasibility of the water transit project. Next. This financial scheme of PPP in our project. The private sector financed the capital cost using equity and debt. We recommend debt ranges from 70% to 95% of total finance. And next. There is a comparison of 100% public finance and PPP. PPP has more advantages. Government pays during operation and maintenance phase. Obviously, the Baku Water Transit Project is affordable. We hope the government will consider the visuality and benefits of this project. For the sake of this project, I hope to obtain funding from the private sector, hopefully ADB and World Bank. And the last slide. We cannot make Baku citizens 100% happy, but we can surely make water transit passengers 100% happy. Thank you for having us, PPD.
Okay. Thanks for all excellent presentations. Please give these teams a big hand again. Now, let's have comments from our distinguished panels. I'll introduce the panels in this session. Okay, next slide. Okay. We have Professor Chun Oh-yeom, Professor of International School of Urban Sciences, University of Seoul. We have Dr. Chang-gu Jung, Director of Korea Research Center for Overseas Construction in ICAC. We have General Director Becky Jo, General Director of Global Business Promotion and Cooperation Office, Korea Land and Housing Corporation. We have Director Chris Jiwon Yoon, Director of Strategy and Planning Division, Korea Overseas Infrastructure and Urban Development Corporation. Okay, firstly, let's invite Professor Chun Oh-yeom. Comments, please.
Okay, hello, everyone. Well, it's really great to participate in this fair. And first of all four teams, all four presenters, are really congrats that you are selected as a presenter because of your achievement in the Global Project Development class. Okay, I was asked to provide my comment, especially for the first team, ACE team. So ACE team presented a smart underground waste collection system, which is really interesting topic because your team concerns about the solid waste, which is a problem not only developing country but also developed country altogether. And thinking about the rapid urbanization, especially in the developing country, this is a really critical topic and issue to achieve a sustainable urban development. Okay, so the target city was from Penn, I believe one of the members works for. And especially one of the good points is that your team presented a project objective separated by a short-term and long-term. And you have a methodology about the case study in the Sangam and Eunpyeong area in Seoul, and of course, a literature review. And as a result of your project, your team proposed a concept of 15 kilometers of waste collection system. Well, thinking about the time and the resource of your team, which was done during the one semester, I really agree that the limitation of study. And here, one of the, well, many things are really great and good, but I just want to indicate one weak point of the study is that because you proposed one line of the 15 kilometers, but thinking about the generating the solid waste generating place and the different type of the solid waste, maybe you can think about the 2 or 3 lines to compare which would be the best line that you can select and you can invest. And maybe you can develop a comparison analysis in the future if there is a chance. And one of the great points is that again, well, this is a really interesting topic, and also in Korea, it's not that common. I want to say it's a rare system, but this is really the effective system if adopted. So, well, overall, thinking about the very short time, only one semester, yeah, the result that you presented here today is a really great, and I want to say that really good job. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Chun Oh-yeom. Next, let's invite Dr. Chang-gu Jung. Comments, please.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I am Chang-gu Jung of ICAC. First of all,
I am happy to attend as a panel of GPD fairs. Basically, I think all the presentations are well prepared. Let me tell you my comments shortly on the second presentation of group Kupu Kupu. As mentioned in the presentation, most of the developing countries, such as Depok City in Indonesia, are suffering from waste problems. Actually, Korea is also now showing a high level of waste recycling, but it still haven't solved this problem. So I think the most important goal set in this presentation is focus on education and partnership with business and community. This is because the problem of waste recycling is difficult to solve unless there is a fundamental change in the perception of local residents. So continuous educational activities and promotional activities through the media will have to continue until new habits about waste proposal have established in each household. And it will also be necessary to think about ways to give incentives to residents who actually participated in the waste separation activities. So meanwhile, to give you my opinion regarding on the construction of the recycling and education center to be promoted in this project. First, I think your assumption is too positive regarding the cost and expected profit. The break-even point has been set at 4 years, but it seems somewhat faster. So it seems reasonable to postpone the timing of a profit a little more, considering unexpected situations. Second, it seems necessary to suggest various measures such as ODA funds and MDB funds for direct cost, which was suggested as the cost of building these facilities. Finally, standard operational process for facility O&M presented for the sustainability of the project seems very desirable, and it seems necessary to modularize the success of this project to spread its performance to other Indonesian local governments in the future. Okay, that's all my comments. Thank you for preparing for the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the comments. Okay, now let's invite General Director Becky Cho. Comments, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me again to be a panelist. And I would like to congratulate all the all the groups for the excellent presentations and the thorough research that you have all done. And I think it's a great job that you have done. So a big bravo to all of you. Now, I've been asked to comment on the third group, and so I looked at it quite closely. I would like to say that that it was a very thoroughly thought out concept. There was much research that was done for it. I believe that there is an already knowledge of the issues that you have at hand, because of course you've got the local person that is aware of these problems. So I do have some questions that perhaps maybe you can answer them later on. But for example, why this particular area? Because when I saw that, I did not see that. Of course, the slum area is very big. Illegal. You've got informal settlements, but the particular pilot area that you chose was rather small, but then not so densely populated. So I was wondering why you chose that particular area. So, however, you for example, in the cost and benefit analysis, you have already a cost approach using specific costs from countries which are very realistic. So, for example, Korea has had the experience of participating in such PPP projects, and we go in and we say, well, Korea has done so and so, let's use the Korean model to do it, without really considering some of the costs which are very different from what it is here in Korea and from what it is in your local country. So I thought that was very good. The cost and benefit analysis was very thought out. However, I do have to agree with Dr. Chang-Gu Chung that these, you have a very positive outlook of how you're going to reach that point where you're going to break even. So I think you need to consider a little bit more about that. Now, I want to also share that in PPP projects, there are a set of questions that you have to look at. So, for example, I use the World Bank OECD checklist for PPP projects, and it has 4 different areas with a set of questions that you can look at. So it looks at, for example, the politics, the law and institutions, the economics and the finance of it, and the execution. So there is a series of questions that ask those who are coming up with these projects, so that you have a checklist to go through. For example, does the local government and the central government really agree in these projects? Do they have a long-term plan? Is your project part of that long-term plan, for example? That's a very political question. So you have laws and execution, laws and institutions, for example. Do you have a PPP law that will allow private sector to be involved as they will be in a particular project? And the financing of it, the taxation. What will you do with land acquisition? The main problem, of course, here also is that you're working with the very vulnerable and the poor population of the city. So you have to have a pro-poor activity that is included in your PPP. So because most PPPs will just consider the benefits and the values and the profits that will come out of it. So you have to purposely put into your project these activities that will consider some reform that will allow the poor to really enjoy the benefits that come from this project. So compensations, concessions, relocation, where will they live while you're doing these projects? Do you have a fund that will allow them to be mobilized to a particular area so that they will be able to come back and live in these apartments? So that brings me to my last comment, which is really about what we have done here in Korea, because I work here at Land and Housing Corporation. We have gone through, of course, lots of development, new town developments, housing, but we have reached a point where we have to regenerate some of our old towns. We have to create new towns to allow more housing to come in. So the government has purposely created policies where for the commercial sector, the private sector to come in. However, there's a mandatory regulation that sets them a certain quota for the local people to be able to come back to and live there on a rental basis. And the local government is in charge of maintaining and these rental apartments that will be included in these commercial sectors. So I guess that's the comments that I have. I had to really, comment very quickly, but I thought it was great a presentation. Congratulations, and I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the comment. Okay, and nextly, let's invite Director Chris Jiwon Yoon. Comments, please. Chris.
Hello, okay. Right, okay. Thank you for the great presentation all. I'd like to leave my short comments on the last presentation, Baku Waterway Transit. I think it's a very fresh solution to improve the traffic congestion through eco-friendly transportation method. Well, move to page 11. The demands calculation. One of the important elements for planning transportation infrastructure is demands analysis. In this presentation, around 20,000 passengers was converted from car to ferry. But for estimating demands, assuming demands forecast based on network line load or some MRT like that, and or the origin destination will be more reliable. And page 17, calculation of the required number of ferries. In case of the route 1, you assumed the round trip cycle time is of 52 minutes, but I guess it's net cycle times. Normally, to estimate car ferry cycle time is considered a loading and unloading time. So I think it should be more considered in hourly time, and also securing regular time is the most important elements for public transportation systems. So I recommend in more spare ferry to provide against a contingency, such as like ferry accident, and it's like electricity boat, so charging time and delay events. And the last one is a BCA part. For defining the peak hour is you define 8 to 9 a.m. and the close time is 5 to 6 p.m. But according to the Baku Transportation Agency average car speed, closing time should be expanded by 7 p.m. The lowest car speed is only 9 or 10. So I'd like to recommend extend the peak hour is 7 to 6 p.m. The last one is BCA, benefit factors. First, specifying total period for this project and to calculate the Beshi ratio, we're able to get more credibility. Benefit factor is passenger without car may transfer other transportation like a bus or metro they use to get the final destination. That means additional time spending to use another transportation shall be subtracted on saving of time travel. And also there are some other benefit elements for this project. Car operation cost saving, like oil saving or maintenance or tire wear dust, like that. On the contrary, this counter benefits shall be analyzed for this project. For example, operation of power plant emission for producing electricity to drive ferry boats, environmental impacts of operating ship repair. You comment a working facility, ship repair yard, ship repair facility. In general, ship repair shop cause much environmental pollution because they have some hull shop and painting shop. And also, life cycle cost analysis should be considered. For example, operation like a personal expense, and then operation cost and maintenance cost, like the total overhaul. So you wanted to make this project developed by PPP project. So promoting this project by PPP, financial viability shall secure it first. All right, okay, that's my comment, and that's all I have for you all. It's a great job, all your hard work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for all valuable comments. I believe the comments will be very helpful to make the proposed project more feasible. Thank you, everyone. This is the end of the session 1. Professor Saw, please take the podium.
All right, I took over the mic again. So thank the Professor Jun Park for your moderating the first session, and thank all panelists for your valuable comments on each project, and thank all 4 teams for your great presentations. Okay, so the planned schedule is a little bit delayed, but we will have a short break, like 5-minute break, right? So let us back again after 5 minutes, 4:25. Right, thank you.
Thank you. 감사합니다. 수고하셨습니다. 패널분들.
네, 감사합니다. 수고하셨습니다. 감사합니다. 수고하셨습니다.
수고하셨습니다.
네, 정 박사님 감사합니다. 네, 윤 팀장님, 네, 윤 본부장님
감사합니다.
고생하셨습니다.
원장님 다음에 식사 한번 하시죠. 연락 한번 드리겠습니다.
꼭 주세요.
네. 혹시 저 2번째 세션은 안 들어도 됐나요? 제가 다른 또 웨비나가 있어갖고.
네, 그러시죠. 네, 바쁘시면 일 보십시오.
중간중간에 들어와 보겠습니다. 네.
네,
감사합니다. 네.
수고하셨습니다.
네, 수고하셨습니다. 감사합니다. Hi, Decca. How are you in Cambodia?
두 번째 세션 시작하기 전에 패널 분들 다 오셨나 한번 확인하겠습니다. 노은희 팀장님 지금 계신가요?
네, 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하십니까? 네. 원종준 과장님 들어오셨나요? 원종준 과장님.
아까 보이시던데.
아까 오셨었습니다. 예.
그런가요? 네네네.
예.
노은희 팀장님 오랜만입니다. 감사합니다. 와주셔서.
네, 안녕하세요. 네, 초대해 주셔서 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
그리고 김윤휘 선임 연구원님 지금 계시죠?
네, 접속해 있습니다.
네, 안녕하십니까?
네, 안녕하세요. 김윤희 박사님.
네, 그러면 두 번째 세션 시작하겠습니다. Please give your attention again. Let us start the second session. Professor Hyemin Park will moderate the second session. So please welcome her with your big hands. Professor Park, I think Professor Park has not come back yet. Okay, so let us wait a couple of more minutes. Sorry.
I think she is here.
Good afternoon. We're going to begin the second session on environment and energy. I'm Hyemin Park, moderator of this session and ISUS faculty. We honorably have three distinguished guests of panelists for the second session who have in one way or another helped us put this event together today. We will have three presentations followed by feedback from the panel. We will start with Team Wakatobi presenting Island Wind Farm. Wakatobi, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Kate, can you share the screen? Okay, good afternoon, professors, fellow students, and panels. My name is Jaehan, and I will initiate our GPD presentation today. We are a group of Wakatobi, and the project name is Wakiwangi Island Wind Farm, located in Wakatobi Regency in Indonesia. Next. This is Wakatobi team member. I'm from South Korea, Alifa from Malaysia, Leta from Indonesia, and Kate from Philippines. Before I go any further, these are the table of contents, project description, implementation, output, environmental impacts, and mitigation measures. And finally, project outcome. Reta?
I will start with overview. Wind energy will produce electrical power and make transition from fossil-based to renewable resource. The wind farm could contribute as a tourist attraction. Next. So Wakatobi is a part of Southeast Sulawesi province, consists of 150 islands and one of 10 tourism area priorities in Indonesia. And for this project, we choose Wakiwangi Island because Wakiwangi Island is the largest island in Wakatobi and connected to mainland by Matahora Airport. Next. So Wakiwangi Island is a popular marine tourism located in Indonesia with average visitor are 27,000 from 2016 to 2019. Next. The electricity in this island still depend on diesel power plant with average of electrification ratio is 50%, which is still low number. Next. Wakiwangi has average annual wind speed from 6 to 8 meters per second according to Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources Indonesia. Therefore, the island has potential to develop wind energy. Next. So the rationale of this project are first, to create alternative energy resource. Second, because limited electricity in the island. Third, Wakiwangi has wind potential. And fourth, to boost tourism potential in the island. Next. The goal of this project is to construct a wind farm on the island and then provide an alternative source of energy and develop green tourism on the island. Next is Jaehoon.
Okay, thank you. Our main activities embody 4 elements here: design and mapping, detailed activities and work plan, and project structuring and financial analysis as feasibility study. Next. So, okay, activities and work plan. So we need to establish our SPC first, and then set up project stakeholder structure, including sponsor, technical advisor. And then we need to install LiDAR adjacent to the project site area to mine the wind data. And we need MOA with the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources Indonesia. And then we need a contract with the government permit service provider such as EIA. And then we have to organize public hearings with local communities. And we execute engineering, procurement, construction, and commissioning and testing. And then we maintain and operate the plant for 20 years. And then we transfer our government for its ownership. These are the brief. This financial analysis shows our project feasibility. In short, BC ratio for this project is 1.09, as showing green light here. In detail, we calculate capex cost by applying some adjustment there. Comparing similar wind farm project in Korea, which totally equivalent to 193 million US dollar, and O&M cost equivalent to 59 million US dollar as MPP for 20 years operation. On the benefit side, we have, of course, electricity revenue with expected tariff equivalent to 174 million US dollars. And there are also intangible benefit expected as 51 million US dollars. And finally, REC transaction benefit as 50 million US dollars. Next. This one shows our project stakeholders. In the middle, there is, of course, our SPC. And SPC will be sponsored by one Indonesia electricity company, PTPLN, and 2 Korean electricity company, KWC and KHMP. And ADB KXIM will support this project as a lender with 2 private banks. On the construction side, Hyundai and Siemens will participate, and the operation and maintenance work will be done by PTPLN subsidiary company HP. At the end of the day, SPC will sell electricity to PTPLN for its distribution, and KHMP will take care of REC transaction. Next. Here in this design and mapping, you can see Wakiwangi Island overview, and our project location is in the right side, which next to airport nearby tourist area, and is approximately 11 square kilometer wide and with the 22 number of wind turbine. Alifa?
The main output of the project is electricity. For population, including residents, employees, and tourists, the number of turbines for 49 megawatt farm is 22. For intervals of 850 meters, the land area is estimated to be 11 kilometers square. Next. The second output of our project is Wakiwangi Island as a tourist attraction with clean energy utilization. It is expected that this farm could help increase ecotourism on the island and help in the development of the area's economy by attracting more tourists to the island, in addition to the existing diving activities on the island. Okay.
Based on our analysis, we were able to identify 7 immediate and obvious environmental impacts of wind farm construction. At the same time, we included measures on how to mitigate those. First is the construction and operation noise. To lessen construction noise, mainly from pile driving during the construction phase, soft start technique will be used. Layout will be optimized, or spacing will be increased between turbines to help in minimizing noise during the operation phase. Second, water quality impacts from sediments. As part of the pre-construction and construction phase, civil works like clearing and excavation can cause sediment movements and accumulation that may affect surface water. An erosion and sediment control plan will be adapted so that eroded soils will not impact drainage patterns. Third, disturbance of existing soil during the construction phase. As mentioned in the previous item, civil works will disturb existing soils. The erosion and sediment control plan mentioned above will also cover this matter. For instance, excavated soils will not be discarded. Instead, those viable soils will be used in site restoration and landscaping. Fourth is the potential dust generation during the construction phase. Mitigations will include the watering up exposed surfaces and roads and the covering up heaps. Dust monitoring equipment will also be employed. Fifth is the displacement and migration barriers for avian communities. The crucial thing for this is by avoiding development in nesting and foraging areas. One way to achieve this is through a science-based vulnerability index of birds. To aid in proper spatial planning, a monitoring and adaptive response plan will be put in place which will consider the seasonality and the geography of their movements throughout the year. 6, risk of collision with wind turbine blades of flying wildlife. The best identified solution for this is still the proper spatial planning that considers important migration corridors. Based on a study, painting one blade with black will increase the visibility of the turbine blades, therefore reducing the bird strikes by 70%. Adopting such measures will be considered for this project to be less harmful to the flying wildlife. And lastly, waste generation. A waste management plan will be put in place to deal with the collection, segregation, and treatment of each type of waste. In the case of a lack of waste management facilities in the immediate area, licensed constructors will be engaged to handle each of the categories of waste. Alifa?
For project outcome, which is the long-term achievement of the project, the island will reduce its dependency on fossil fuel. The island will consume clean energy, hence reducing carbon footprints, which is towards sustainable development goals and also blooming economy driven by green tourism on the island. This is the end of our presentation.
Thank you for your attention. 감사합니다. Terima kasih. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Akatuki. Now let me turn the mic over to Team Wetlanders who will present Wetland and Arboretum. Wetlanders, please take the floor.
Sylvia, full screen, please. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to introduce my team, Wetlanders, and our project, I'll Connect Constructed Wetland and Arboretum in Algeria. Next, please. Our team is made up of Aisa from Algeria, Carla from Mexico, Sichi from China, and myself, Anne from Kenya. Next, please. This is the outline of our presentation today. Next, please. For our project, we're proposing a constructed wetland, which are systems that are fully human-made for wastewater treatment. They apply various technological designs using natural wetland processes associated with wetland hydrology, soils, microbes, and plants to treat wastewater. They can serve as the sole treatment or may be part of an integrated wastewater treatment system. Next, please. For our project, we're proposing a surface flow kind of constructed wetland, which are areas of open water and floating, submergent, and emergent plants. The shallow water depth, low flow velocity, and the presence of plant stalks and litter will regulate the water flow. Surface flow constructed wetlands are also suitable for all climates. Next, please. For our project, we are going to be doing it in Loquat City, which is about 400 kilometers south of Algiers, the capital city of Algeria. Next, please. Our project area has a population of about 16,014 inhabitants and a population growth rate of 1.8% with a density of 4.18 inhabitants per kilometer squared. Next, please. In our project area, there is a natural wetland, which is an area that contains Atlas oak trees and cedar trees and covers an area of about 4.4 hectares. Its water is stagnant and springs from sewage and is replenished by rainwater. It shelters many birds, especially migratory birds. Next, please. Our project area is an important ecological point because it attracts more than 69 species of migratory birds that cross the continents, that include rare and endangered species that make this place a stopover and a breeding site. Next, please. Our project area is important because it acts as a flood control and risk mitigation. It controls the hydrological cycle, helps in permanent replenishment of groundwater, and in the removal of sediments, chemicals, and toxic substances. Now I invite Aisa to continue on the next part.
El Khaneg wetland is very important ecological area, however, is polluted by untreated wastewater with the emission of unbearable odors, which gives a bad urban image. Also, the geographical position of El Khaneg municipality put it under the risk of desertification. Next slide, please. As you see in this picture, the wastewater comes from the pumping station, the small circle, and accumulates in the natural wetland and contaminates it. Next slide, please. To treat this wastewater, it needs the construction of pipeline and treatment plant, which are both grey infrastructure with high operation and maintenance costs, and don't provide environmental services. Also cannot be enjoyed by population. Hence, it becomes necessity to find other alternatives. Next slide, please. Consequently, we think about a nature-based solution, which is constructed wetland. The constructed wetland has social benefits such as better quality of life, aesthetic beauty, as well as ecological benefits. We have nature-based solution, fight against desertification, climate regulation, and ecosystem service. Also economic benefits such as the attraction of investors and tourism, increase of land values. Next slide, please. Hence, this leading example of nature-based solution responds to the SDGs, particularly SDG 3, good health and well-being, SDG 6, clean water and sanitation, SDG 7, affordable and clean energy. Next slide, please. For stakeholders, we have El Khaneg municipality and Nagawat province as owner of project, Public Treasury and Agriculture and Rural Development Bank for funding this project. Forestry Conservation Office participates in the construction of the Arboretum. Also, Water Resource Department for monitoring and controlling the project. National Sanitation Office and for operating the constructed wetland. And as direct beneficiaries, we have Lagwat and El Khaneg citizens. And now, Celia, can you continue, please?
Well, our project works as the wastewater treatment facility, purifying the wastewater of El Khaneg city. And here is the wetland, around 5 hectares. The existing pumping station will pump the water to the wastewater accumulation here. Well, up here is the arboretum, around 12 hectares. According to the city plan, university and residential complexes, as well as parks, will be developed in this area. Wastewater treatment plants will provide the water resources for our arboretum. As you see, the top 2 pictures show the water slopes are both positive in targeted locations. The bottom 2 pictures show the overall vision of our project. Plants are selected considering ecological, social, and economic factors. The wetland plants can be classified in 3 groups: common reeds and cacti as the emergent group, myriophyllum as the submergent group, and water lily as the floating group. This is the common reed, the dominant species. There's scientific evidence of its ability to absorb the heavy metal and chemical contents above ground and underground. The plants in the arboretum are selected according to native species, local climate, aesthetic factors, The same principle with additional consideration on flowering trees that yield fruits. The date palm can provide sweet dates as dessert. A Pontiac cactus can provide refreshing pear. Other native oak trees and flowers will be planted as well. Furthermore, we plan to hold the festivals for fruit picking. The tickets can be part of our operation fees. The project will tackle wastewater treatment, green infrastructure, forestation, aquifer pollution, and nesting place for migrant birds. I'll invite Carla, please.
Thank you. Our financing sources will include two national organizations, the World Bank and the Fund for Land Degradation Neutrality, under the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. Next, please. Based on similar projects to ours, we got a total cost of $3.5 million for the construction of both facilities and $8,400 per year for maintenance. Next, please. Our project has financial sustainability because water won't have a cost since it is municipal wastewater. The maintenance expenses can be covered through water bills, and there can be revenue from entrance fees and from the fruit selling events. Next, please. Considering the entrance fees and visitors shown on screen, we can have at least $11,000, which is enough to pay the maintenance and to still have some revenue. Next, please. The execution plan of this project consists of 5 years. The first 2 years will be focused on budget authorization, design of the proposal, and other preliminary formalities. The project will be constructed on the 3rd year, and on the 4th year, the specimens will be planted. Finally, on the last year, staff will be trained and plants will grow. After this 5-year period, the arboretum and wetland will be ready to be open to the public. Next, please. To wrap up our presentation, we can say that the benefit set of our project can be easily achieved, making this wetland and arboretum an interesting nature-based solution for Elknecht current and future residents. Next, please. That will be all from our part. Thank you for your attention. This was Wetlanders providing clean water for all.
Thank you, Wetlanders. Now we've come to our last presentation, Smart Agro Tourist Farm by Team Avengers. Please take the floor.
Can you see my screen? Okay. Chun Agu Imnida. Ladies and gentlemen, we do not wish to waste a second of your time, but allow us, through me, to recognize the distinguished sponsors, our DIN, and the rest of the faculty. All protocols we observe. To you all, we are grateful for the opportunity to pursue our studies and evidently pen down this global project that can save humanity. To our sponsors, we would like to say, Manaso Pangap Sumnida. For today's GPD fair, we will present to you the Nijgard Smart Agro Tourist Farm.
What is the network?
Okay. My name is Lienji Mwanza, and to present this proposal with me today is Chunhyun Lee from Korea, Umesh from Nepal, Shara from Uzbekistan, and also other contributors who we wish to note are Barum from Korea and Lucia from East Timor, who will not join us today, but have definitely been part of this team. And together we call ourselves the Avengers. This will be our project proposal. And before I present my proposal, I would like to take one quote from Alan Kay in 1940, who said, and I quote, "The best way to predict the future is to create it." Ladies and gentlemen, picture this: drones that monitor hundreds of acres to assess the health of crops and animals, smart sensors to help in the early dictation and infestations, and automatic systems that water, fertilize, and fumigate each plot depending on its specific characteristics. These are just some of the virtues of smart farming, the concepts that we are proposing to help eradicate hunger in an overpopulated future. Added to that, smart agro-tourism, our proposal is smart farming that is done for touristic purposes, which includes educative benefits as well, thus creating diversified streams of income for our smart farm. Ladies and gentlemen, according to the United Nations calculations, by the year 2050, we will have about 10 billion people in the world. In other words, there will be more than 2 billion people in the world compared to 2020. This increase, according to the Food Agriculture Organization, needs to be met through a 70% rise in agriculture production. This situation poses a very serious challenge to the member states of the United Nations with regard to Agenda 2030. And specifically, I am referring to SDG 2, which aims to end world hunger. The challenge, therefore, is not just to produce more food, but we need to do this sustainably. Our goal as Avengers is to create the optimum cultivation environment to improve productivity and quality of agricultural goods with less use of labor, energy, fertilization than before, and also form a new integrated tourism project that contributes to the sustainable development of less developed areas. Our project is one that has a hat trick. In short, we expect 3 very big outcomes. One is that we have a positive environment impact. Secondly, an economic gain. Last but not the least is social food security. I now hand over to Chu Hian Lee.
Thank you. I want to tell you about Seoul Metro Farm because we visited the Sangdo Metro Farm, which is one of them. The Seoul Metropolitan Government and Seoul Metro and the agriculture company Farm Aid have come together for this project. This smart farm has incorporated tourism based on its location. On average, 7.5 million people take the subway each day in Seoul, according to Seoul Metro. This means that passerby will naturally encounter metro farms on their way to work, home, or meet family and friends. Thus, the farm has established a farm cafe which sells fresh salad and juice made from crops harvested on the same day. The smart farm also has Farm X, a zone where visitors can learn about the future of agriculture. Lesson learned: the location of a very cardinal for smart agro-tourism. The farm needs to be located in areas that are easily accessible as well as have high human traffic. Next, please. Over to you, Sharap.
Thank you, Chehyun. So as it was mentioned, drones necessary to conduct automatic monitoring and observation of the growth, trends, and the rational use of the water resource, also making the prognosis. Use of the modern technologies implies the use of the internet resource and powerless connection to a single system. Conducting online analysis will allow to assess the effect of the sunlight, wind load, and other effects on the productivity and on certain measures necessary to take. Next slide, please. All information should be stored and used in the single database, and access will be from the site and location on the phone or other devices. On the one of the methods of the data transmission and storage will be use of the blockchain system. Blockchain will help to avoid the data substitution and gives more confidence from the international financial institutions and the government during the allocating funding for the project. This will support to trace an entire product chain from the initial stage to the final customer. Also, robotics and chipping will be used in our project, especially when the breeding and caring for the newborn animals sensitive and constant monitoring is necessary to such as the temperatures, availability of the water, measurement of the body temperature, indicators of the growth data, and etc. All these modern technologies will increase the efficiency of our project. Umesh, could you please continue?
Our project site, Nijgarh municipality, is located in Bara district of Province 2 in Nepal. The city is crossed through Kathmandu-Tarai fast track and east-west national highway. So there is a great achievement in transportation and mobility. Next. The city has a high potential in production of the cereal and the cash crops with 11% of agricultural land of total area of municipality. Government of Nepal has a strategy to invest 502 billion Nepalese rupees for modernization, commercialization of agriculture in 10 years. The next slide. The regional connectivity from Nijgarh to other cities is improving by construction of expressway, postal highway, and upgrading of east-west highway and Kathmandu, Birganj Kathmandu and east-west railway. Next slide. Next to Lee.
Thank you. We conduct the conceptual design for smart agro-tourism city as shown. Consideration of access to other cities and tourists. We plan the city on the site near the existing east-way expressway and Kathmandu-Tarai fast track and Nevada International Airport under construction. The city has 3 development directions. The first is an agriculture town. It will be created as smart farms and related facilities. The second is culture town. It will be created as a space where you can experience Nepalese culture and accommodation facility. And the last is a residential town. It will be created to accommodate the population flowing into the city. Next, please. Over to Umesh.
The total project cost is about 43 million USD for the budgetary purpose with response of the Department of Urban Development and Building Construction and the foreign grant government of Nepal and the local investors made the total financial sources of this project. Next, please. And the total expected annual revenue of this project is $2 million US$ per year, and hope this Nijgarh has a high potential to develop as a green growth center in the Tarai region near to capital city of Kathmandu. Next two.
We have laid down the 3 years for the implementation of this project. Also, we have divided this project into 3 main stages. The first one is the initiation stage, in our case, the preparation of the project site. The second one is the stage of the implementation for us. This is the construction and implementation of all hard infrastructure components. And the last one, the final stage, is the launch of the project itself and the implementation of all soft components of the project. Chiranjeev, could you please continue?
Ladies and gentlemen, food security is being threatened, especially in developing countries. To reduce this rate, innovation needs to be the adopted approach, such as the one that the Avengers are proposing. Smart agriculture will increase agricultural productivity, enhance the resilience of farmers to climate change, and where possible, mitigate greenhouse gas emissions from agriculture. To qualify our project, Umesh has already highlighted a cost-benefit analysis that was done and also taken with a case study. And with lessons learned, especially from Korea, the Avengers Smart Futuristic Farm in Nijgarh will be able to monitor fields remotely and make strategic decisions for the whole farm or for a single plant or animal. Further, with the technology that was highlighted by Sharaf, a piece of agricultural land will be divided into as many plots as it has internal differences. Each plot or farm or animal will be given customized treatment to get the most benefit, thus ensuring a maximum production and an overall increase in food security through sustainable farming methods. What we are proposing is quality, also quantity at the same time. At this point in time, I'd like to say thank you very much. And in Korean, we say, 감사합니다.
Thank you, Avengers. As a concluding part of our session, I'd like to ask comments, advice, or any input from our distinguished panelists. Let me first Can we see the screen of introducing panelists? Okay. The next one. Thank you. So let me first introduce our panelists. Dr. Kim Yoon-hee, Senior Researcher at Korea Environmental Industry and Technology Institute, or KT. Dr. No Eun-hee, Team Leader at Seoul Housing and Communities Corporation, or SH. Dr. Won Jong-jun, Manager at Korea International Cooperation Agency, or KOICA. Please give them a warm welcome and applause. In the order of presentation, may I first invite Dr. Kim Yoon-hee for comments and advice?
Okay, thank you, Professor Park Hae-min. Have me on the floor, and then I'm really impressed and appreciated to be invited this seminar, and then to see all the very excellently prepared presentation and developed the project. I'm going to give comments on what's done good, and then need more further study on this part. And first of all, I really like the item of this project, especially you selected the renewable energy in the island. I think all of you been very familiar with this. Recently, climate change is a very hot topic on these days on the international development cooperation field. And also the second one is the rationale you structured. Your team mentioned on the to generate the power in this specific island is mostly use the fossil fuel diesel. So mentioning in that part gives a more strengthened rationale to why this island need a wind generation to have more eco-friendly electricity generation. And then also, it was also good that the referencing national plan of Indonesia. And the third was this project have a sector cross-cutting item, because your team combined renewable energy and the tourism on the one project. That's also kind of a very welcoming idea when you develop a project, not only just focusing on one sector, also you could think of including this another sector to improve or expand the efficiency of this project. And the fourth was that is your team mentioned how your team is the only team that has done the environmental impact analysis. That is also quite important recently to think of when you develop a project. So, and then the rest of the part that I would like to give you a comment is it need more study. Regarding the project national, yeah, that also very good to mention the national plan. But how about I would like to suggest a study of the national energy plan that Indonesia must have, that the national plan on the renewable energy sector or the energy sector national plan. If you mentioned that, if you're referencing that national plan on your funding proposal, that much strengthen your national of this project. And then the second is how I think the case study is kind of missed. I just briefly Googled on the similar project. I found one that's ADB done kind of a small wind or the microgrid project in Indonesia. So how about referencing one or two microgrid renewable energy projects in this funding proposal that would help understand the project concept and the structure? And the third is about the financial analysis part. And I'm wondering in terms of COPEX, the cost of ESS or the grid installation cost. And if it's not, please study or find some more materials to reference, because that the cost of ESS, the electric grid installation cost is cost a lot, quite a lot. So I think you should look that up too. And then the next is, I'd like to suggest to considering when you think of the revenue of this project is the tourism part. As you've mentioned on this presentation, this Wakiwangi Island have quite of a very familiar of a tourism island. So we could expect kind of an entrance fee, when we completed the wind farm, and then we could, we can expect the entrance fee of when you enter the, how can I say, wind farm park per se. So we could add more revenue on this project. And then last but not least, on this presentation, I cannot find the project timeline for the project implementation. So that's what, you mentioned on the operation, maintenance and operation, it's 20 years, but also we want to see how long it will take to complete the construction, and then the trial operation part. So that is all my comments. And then thank you very much to be invited, and then congratulations on the finally completing amazing job to present your ideas. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Kim, for your comments. May I ask a few words of comments, Dr. No?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eun-hee from Seoul Urban Solutions Agency under Seoul Metropolitan Government. First of all, I thank you for having me on this event again. I really enjoyed the excellent presentations by all members, and I'd like to give special comments on Wetlanders team. I think this is very well-made proposal to tackle urban challenges through the innovative, sustainable, and cost-effective solutions, fitting well to the environmental condition in Algeria, with sustainable financing plan, which is one of the most important factor in the project. In terms of technical and operational aspects of the project feasibility study, I'd like to give you 3 comments. So firstly, although it was a good idea, but there must have been additional consideration on the feasibility of the constructed wetland CW to treat the wastewater from the community, Elkenek, including the pollutants load, amount of inflow, hydraulic residence time, and species and characteristics of the pollutants, and so on. About the time for treatment, the feasibility of the nature-based solution depends on the availability of the space and time for the solution implementation and operation. As already known widely, CW has a limitation in treating large amount of wastewater. We need to consider the space and time with CW in Erkanek. You mentioned the population of Erkanek is given 16,000 in 2019, with the population growth rate of 1.8%. And I Googled somehow, the water supply in Algeria varies between 65 and 220 LPCD with average of 170. And 5 to 15 hectare of space is required to treat 1,000 cubic meter per day of wastewater. And your project starting point is in 2017. At that time, the space of the population will be around 18,000. So the space of the constructed wetland was designed to be around 5 hectares in the proposal. But if we consider the age of the water infrastructure is about 30 years on average, then the CW is required, the space is required around 8 hectares in 2057. So the space should be evaluated considering the population growth, urbanization plan, and other infrastructure plan. My second comment is, I think you are very well studied about the plant. So you mentioned the Phragmites australis was proposed as the main plant of the CW. I don't have any information of this plant, but we need to evaluate the ecological stability in the CW. If it is an invasive species to the plant ecosystem of the area, it must be avoided. In addition, the plant of the CW should be decided considering the water quality of the influent and target water quality, as well as the ecological system of the area. And thirdly, it is great to make citizens involved from the planning stage of the project to the operation of the CW. Citizens' involvement is one of the most important key factors to operate the green infrastructure sustainably. I give you one more thing. I'd like to suggest to consider the monitoring system, which monitors the volume and characteristics of the wastewater and quality of the treated water. Or in some cases, some illegal dumping of wastewater, etc. So as a conclusion, the nature-based solutions such as the constructed wetland is strongly recommended to be implemented for urban problems. And the governance and financial stability are critically important for sustainable operation of the CW. And the capacity of the constructed wetland has to be decided considering the population growth and other plans for the infrastructure of the municipality. Lastly, the monitoring system of wastewater volume, quality of treated water is strongly recommended. Thank you for your excellent presentation. That's my comments.
Thank you, Dr. No, for your comments. Lastly, Dr. Won, would you please give us a comment?
Yeah. Is it clear? Is it clear my voice?
It seems there's some problem with your mic.
What is one? Is it clear?
It's not.
There's some echo. 울려요.
Opinion. So good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Songjun Won from KOICA. Thank you for inviting me to GPD fair present and share what you have been preparing for a long time. I was asked to comment on the presentation of the team Avengers. Before give you a I am aware that project planning is not an easy task. It's not easy. So I would rather than giving opinions on the details, I'd like to tell that you work hard for finding an idea and organizing it like this. Today, Team Avengers gave a presentation on smart agro tourism. I think this keyword was appropriately derived from the perspective of urbanization, digital transformation, and productivity increase in rural areas. Rural area and agriculture are very important from a food security point of view. As the world's population is growing faster, and at the same time, urbanization is taking place at the same time. Considering that the rural population is shrinking, it means that more production with less manpower is required. And measures to add value to the rural areas must be prepared. In this respect, I think that smart tourism in rural areas is an approach with potential. In addition to this, I think that the case study presented by Team Avengers can serve as an exemplary case in terms of connecting urban and rural areas. The contents about drone, Internet of Things, big data, blockchain, and artificial intelligence seem to show what we're like when innovative science and technology applied to rural areas. In addition, the flow leading to site analysis, technology assessment, project cost estimation, and financing sources, revenue estimation, and work implementation plan is also thought to be logically well structured. In particular, I think it is excellent in that the business component, project components are divided and the concept is presented in detail. However, since rigor and institutional aspects are important for new technologies and project models to settle well, it is necessary to review the institutional feasibility by adding an analysis of the Nepal government's agricultural promotion policy and science and technology introduction policy. And next, as the business progresses, the person who will introduce and manage the smart farm is also very important. So it would be good if capacity building of residents was added to the project element. So far, I give my opinions, and I hope that this proposal will be refined and so that it can be connected to our real business. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Won, for your comments. Again, thank you very much all for your presence joining over the Zoom and YouTube Live. Let me turn the mic to Professor Sao for the awards and closing.
All right. Thank all the presenters for your great presentations. And I appreciate again all the panelists for your valuable comments on each project. And thank you very much, Professor Hyun-Min Park. All right, so now it's time to announce the award of today's presentations. Okay, now I'm waiting for the evaluation results, right? Okay. So before I announce the award, I want to say that all the presentations were all great and interesting. Impressed a lot, and I could feel your hard efforts on your works and your teamwork to the successful project development. Thank you again. Okay, now I have a result on my hands. All right, so we have two winners for the first session. All right. So, all right. So, all right. So two teams are the first place. We have two teams for the first place. Okay. Hope 156 and potatoes. Congratulations. Hope 156 and potatoes. Congratulations. Right. Okay, and we have also two best presentations for the second session. The second place for the second session is Avengers. Congratulations, Avengers. Congratulations. Okay, and the first place for the second session is Wetlanders. Wetlanders. Congratulations. Right, and all the other teams were very good, very great, and thank you all. Right, and now I want to introduce Professor Sin Lee. Professor Sin Lee will give you the closing remarks. Please welcome her with your big hands.
Good afternoon, everyone, and greetings to our ISUS alumni connecting from far away. I would like to congratulate all 7 groups for superbly delivering your project proposal before the distinguished panel. It is not easy to squeeze a semester's work into a 10-minute presentation. As one of the teachers of the module, I know how much work went into it last semester, which must have been beyond the demands of a normal 3-credit module. In addition to the individual portion of the work, group work normally involves high coordination costs that are necessary to successfully manage the group work. What's more, you have been selected to represent your respective class unit. So you can see this event as celebration of your excellent teamwork you have demonstrated. Nonetheless, I thank you for volunteering to present it once again in the deepest winter vacation. I also want to acknowledge that there are more GPD projects of great quality which were not shown today, for which other ISUS student groups worked equally hard and diligently. I would like to thank the distinguished panel members for sparing their time to listen to the work of our students in the middle of extremely busy daily schedule of yours. With your presence, the occasion is not only complete, but also graced. We learned greatly from your unbiased views, expert views, observations, and insights, which no doubt adds to the nourishment our students need for good growth. I also thank all the participants of our ISUS family, including the students connecting from home and away, and ISUS faculty members. Most importantly, I would like to say a big thank you to the organizing team, Professor Hyemin Park, Mr. Gumin Jung, all IUDP coordinators, and the ISUS staff for their hard and well-orchestrated work over the past few weeks. Many thanks, everyone, for helping to make the 2022 GPD Fair a success. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sin Lee. All right. So it's right. So the 2022 ISUS GPT Fair has officially ended. Thank you for your time today. Right. So we will see you next time. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
감사합니다.
Thank you, Professor, and everyone.
I can see many alumni here. Good to see you all.